back live. So before we introduce our guest, just like to thank our sponsors, Armor Assassin Strength Shop, as well as Garage Door Guys in KC. And we have Patreon members, the Alpha Patreon members. We have Zane William Nisley and Jeff Frank. So congrats to you guys. Our guest really doesn't need any introduction. He should be a popular face and well-known amongst the arm wrestling community. And especially coming off of the recent couple of gigantic wins, Krasimir Kostadinov. Now, I hope I said that right. I didn't butcher your name too much. How are you doing?
Hey, guys. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you as well. So, where do you want to start? Gabi, where do we start? Do we go all the way back to WAL? We go back further than that?
You can ask him what his next target is and stuff like that, but we can start with Wall for sure.
So, Krasimir, we have a few questions. So, I guess the last match, first of all, you pulled 7 rounds with a gigantic guy. Did that take anything out of you? Like, are you healthy? Are you good to go?
Well, I think that already I'm healthy, but about 2 weeks after the match, I was busted. My arm was totally... I was very, very bad about 2 weeks after the match, but so far I'm good and preparing for Vitaly now.
Vitaly, that's your next match.
Yes, it's the first stage of top 8. It will be 6th and 7th of June in Ukraine.
Wow. That's how do you feel about the match?
Actually, I wanted to get Vitaly in the first round, so I feel confident and I'm giving my best on my trainings. So we'll see how this will go.
And obviously, congratulations on winning the Zloty. So you get past. Well, let's go all the way back, man. Let's talk about your experience with WAL. So you, at what point did you get invited to come over and compete with the WAL?
Well, it was 2 years ago, I think. They offered me to pull Hutchins or Chaffee. And actually, I decided that I prefer to pull Chaffee. I was feeling good and decided to pull him. But after the match, I realized that my preparation was not the way it had to be. I mean, I was feeling very strong, but I thought that because of his raw power and not so fast start, I will be able to get in good position after the goal and to maintain that position. But I was not able to do that. And during the 2 months of preparation, I was training mostly my attack. But I realized that it was not the good thing. When I see now what happened in that match, I realized that if I was training more of my blocking, just trying to stop him, maybe the match would go different way.
Interesting. Okay, so we, how did he, like, if you were to gauge how Dave felt back then, what do you think his chances are going forward in a match with Levon?
Well, what I felt is that Dave Chaffee has the strongest hook in the world the last several years. This is my opinion. But against Levon, I think that his wrist will not be good enough. And if he managed to stop the match near the center, I think that he has chance to win the match. But I'm just not sure that his wrist will be good enough to stop Levon's hit.
Wow, that's some good insight. I think that it's a very interesting match coming up. So you pulled in the WAL, and what was it that made your decision to leave WAL and go over and pull in PAL?
Well, before Zloty, Neo Pickup asked me if I pull WAL, in which category I want to pull, 220 or plus. And I said to him that if I stay with WAL, most likely I will pull heavyweight. But I said to him that if I win Zloty and Igor invite me to pull top 8, I will go to pull top 8. So after Zloty, Igor said to me that I will pull top 8, and I just decided to go and try there.
And you did extremely well.
So far, yes.
Do you know who your match was going to be this season if you pulled in WAL?
No, actually. No. Yeah.
It was what I was told is that that match was being talked about a lot. And they didn't, of course, tell either one of us that, but they were just talking about it. And that was being talked about for the 600 series anyway. But now we're on much different paths.
Yes.
Yes. So you're pulling pulling PAL. At what point does it become restrictive? Like, are you allowed to do other things as well, or are you kind of with them for the next several months?
Actually, what they told me is that I'm allowed to pull left hand this year. With right arm, I should just pull their 3 events.
Right. So you're going to be pretty busy with them. And you just progress through their season. So is there a left-handed match out there that you would take outside of the PAL?
Not so far, actually. I prefer to concentrate all my energy to my right-hand matches.
Right. Okay. All right. Man, that's awesome. So, Gabi, what do you got?
Man, I got a question for you. Your match with Alex was incredible on multiple levels. One, because just stylistically and because it was such long, grueling matches, but also because of the size differential between you and him. My question for you is, the first time you stopped the match, so match 1, match 2, were you confident right away that you thought you can eke it out towards the end, or did you have doubt right through the final matches?
So, okay, let me tell you how I was thinking during the match. I went to that match totally confident that I'm winning that match.
Wow, nice.
My friend Jordan Sonev beat Alex Turdecha about a year and a half ago without the strap, very, very fast. And I was thinking that I should do that too. I was going there for 4 straight wins. But after the first match, I realized that it will not go that way. So after the first match, I stopped the match, but I was in very bad position. Tried to hold in that position for about 5 seconds, but realized that it's better to let the first match and try to hook him in the second. I tried that, but I was not able to hook him in the second round. So hold him again for about 5 seconds and realized that I will not hook him at all. So that's why I dropped my wrist and tried to go to the side. But when he took my wrist, he immediately pushed me and I was not able to stop him. So the third round, I already knew that I will not hook him anyway, and just decided to hold the center without caring what will happen with my wrist. And actually, the third round, the strap was a little bit tighter, and I was able to hold a little bit better with my fingers, and even he took my wrist. I was able to maintain some back pressure, and when he fought out 2 times, I said to myself, "Okay, that's it. He's finished." I took that round, but the fourth round, after it was 2-1, I started to attack him immediately because I felt that he's already exhausted. But with my attack, my grip went down and I lost my grip. And after a very tough match in the fourth round, I lost that round also because my grip was too low already. And after it was 3-1 to him, I said to myself, okay, it will be the hardest way, 7 rounds.
Mhm.
And this is what happened.
Wow. Any
Yeah.
more on that one, Gabi?
Well, that was one of the most amazing matches I've ever seen. To see the smaller guy grind out, and I know his style, and I know a guy 6'6", 6'7", 6'8" coming is not for him to finish a match is much harder than a guy 6'1", 6'2", being if they had the same side pressure. So I knew the taller guy once the match stopped would struggle to. It wouldn't be easy for him to pin Krasimir. And as the match is prolonged, there was a chance I figured he could win, but I figured every match the advantage went towards Krasimir, only because that's his style, right? He's used to grinding. The Alex isn't known for that, so the advantage went to the grinder as the match is prolonged.
Yeah. So, what do you have a plan or a strategy that you're going to employ in the next match?
Well, I've put Vitaly 6 times, I think. And right now it's 4-2 for me, the wins. The thing is that the last win is for him. So I know how he is pulling. But last time when I pulled him, he was about 15 kilos lighter. So I don't know how strong he is now. So we'll see. I think that I know what I should train and how I should train, but you never know. Sometimes I realize that sometimes the experience work against me. So we'll see how this will go. I don't know what to say.
Do you believe he's the most dangerous top roller in the world right now?
Him and Levan.
Okay.
Okay. Well, we have obviously the world is going through all this stuff with the coronavirus. How is it affecting your country? First of all, like, are you staying indoors or doing anything to make sure that you stay healthy? And how bad is it over there? Because where I am, there's in my province, which is a large area. It's bigger than most European countries. There's only 7 cases so far.
Well, here there, I don't know how many cases. I don't like watching TV actually,
Yeah.
but most of actually all the restaurants are closed. Only the supermarkets and the pharmacies are working, so you cannot go to the cinema. You should just stay here at home.
Yeah. It will get to that here. We're not there yet, but they started to close schools today.
Yeah.
Pretty much across Canada. Do you think it's going to have an effect on the top 8 tournament?
I hope it will not. I hope that it will pass till then, but you never know. I just saw today that they already canceled the Europeans.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, so I don't know what will happen till then, but we'll see.
Well, Europeans and Arnold Australia has now been canceled. So there's a ton of stuff that's not happening over there. And the word is that they're going to quarantine people for 2 days or 2 weeks rather when they get back to Australia. So it's going to make things extremely hard.
It's crazy because yesterday night I was walking outside with my girl and there was nobody on the street. It's just very scary.
Well, yeah, it's kind of the same way here. You drive through town after 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and there's nobody, and nobody's going to restaurants.
Hmm.
Some gyms are closing, but
Here, all the gyms are closed.
I've actually had people ask me to come to my house and use my gym, which would be a terrible idea, I think.
I'm training in my garage now.
Me too. That's the next thing I got to talk to you about. So tell us about the Krasi pulley and how did that come to be? Like you're now selling it, and I'm waiting for mine, or I'm waiting to get my order in because there's a lineup.
We can do this in several days. Well, I was watching some similar machines. Mazurenko have something similar, and I saw the arm Bogdansky machine also. But I realized that I should combine some different things, and that's how Krasis pulley was invented. And so far, the best thing with this machine is that you can put it in the trunk with your table, and you can go and train wherever you want. It's very light, and you can put a lot of kilos on it. So
And it just bolts to any arm wrestling table.
yes, you can put it to any table. I have original table, Mazurenko table, and I have table which is made from my friend, and you can put it to any table. So
I'm interested to get one because I can see the versatility of it.
yes, you can train for top row, for hook, any position. What I do believe is that the most important thing is to have sparring partner on the table. But if you don't have partner, this is the best machine that you can use, according to me, because you can train from the top, from low. Also, you can do any position.
Yeah.
Do you do any gym dynamic strength training at all, or is it all statics with tables and partners?
The last several months, I trained only on the table, plus pull-ups,
Okay.
some push-ups sometimes, and some squats sometimes. Because I was trying to gain some weight, but
Right.
I'm not sure that this will help me. But still doing some pull-ups and arm wrestling. That's all.
Man, I imagine training for Vitali would be so much like you said blocking, but in my mind it would be so much top roll containment, just trying to stop his pronation via in the strap or without. But I would think stopping his pronation because of the length of his arm, in my opinion, would be so much wrist supination and so much bottom finger strength.
Yes, yes.
He seems so challenging as a hooker myself. He seems like a really challenging match, very hard to stop. I mean,
Yes, but the thing is that I've beat him several times. And
right.
we'll see. I just don't know how strong he is now. I think that
Yeah.
I know what to do, but we'll see.
The advantage you have also is if you stop the match, much like you did with Alex, I have a feeling you will absolutely win. With Levan and you, for example, theoretically, if it got there, you can stop the match. Let's say you stop Levan's hand. You can still potentially lose that match because his arm is very strong too. But with Vitaly, I think if the match stops, I think you have a better than not chance of winning.
Well, I hope so, but I don't want to talk in advance because
No.
we'll see.
Of course.
Well, that's yeah. I mean, the pulley. How many of them have you sold?
I don't know, but 50 maybe, more than 50.
That's pretty good. I hope you're making money off of them.
Yes, I just started to this, so we'll see how far I will go.
Okay. Interesting. I'm waiting. Yeah, like I said, I'm waiting on mine. Gabi, are you gonna get one?
Actually, I have one that I ordered in 2007 from a guy from Bulgaria named, it's Arm Bagansky, Kirill Bagansky.
Yes,
Anyway,
yes.
it was fairly cheap. I've used it weekly for over 10 years, and I've replaced the wiring once, but the apparatus itself is fucking iron. It hasn't lost any little bit of durability at all. And for me, that's the best thing I've ever bought. And Krasi's thing is very, very similar in principle. I can
just mine has more positions.
Yes, that's true. Yeah, it does have more versatility. That's true. That's true. So yeah, I'm a big believer in cable systems off your table if you don't have access to a good training partner or a good training team. Absolutely.
Yeah. So, what else you got, Gabi?
I wanted to ask you, Krasimir, about your experience with WAL. The rules and the fact that the padding and the rules are a lot looser than you're used to with pulling in PAL with the rigid rules. What was your experience, and did it deter you at all from pulling more in that league?
I like WAL.
Okay.
Just on the referee's grip, and actually on the grip, they allow very high grip. This is the thing that I don't like. Most of the time, your opponent is hiding your knuckle, and the referee doesn't care about the knuckle. This is what I don't like. About the pads, I like the pads, and the rest, most of the things I like. Just I don't like this very high grip.
Gotcha. Yeah.
It gives a little bit advantage to the top rower.
Yeah. I find that the rules and the table are trying definitely favor the top roller, as like you said, you can cover the knuckle and the pad's extended from the back, so you can draw back a lot more. Now, if they put an extra inch on the front, that would make it even for a hooker to drive in and stop. So I figured, being as primarily a hook puller, you wouldn't have loved that. So I definitely understand.
Yes, this is what I think also.
Yeah.
So you do like the rigid rules as well, or it's just are you a fan of the PAL style as well?
I like the PAL style actually.
You like it?
I'm used to train with very strict rules. No elbow lifting,
Right.
no moving at the referee grip. So I like very strict rules.
Right.
Sure.
So if we're comparing those two, maybe we should ask now what your opinion is. You know about all the stuff with the World Arm Wrestling Federation, and then the stuff with the IFA. Where do you stand? What's your opinion on the difference between that?
Well, I think that the president of WAF is not a good person, the Bulgarian president. And that's why I'm not competing there anymore.
Yeah, I think that's kind of the consensus, that there's some stuff going on there that shouldn't be. Now, do you ever see yourself competing in the IFA?
Maybe, I don't know. I just go for PAL now and don't want to think anything else.
But didn't Bulgaria as a nation join the IFA, or am I mistaken?
No.
Not yet?
No.
Okay.
Actually,
I think it was Georgia, maybe.
Our president is the president of the WAF also.
Okay.
So,
yeah.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah, Asan is actually from
Bulgaria. I was thinking of Georgia.
Yes,
Yeah, I was thinking of Georgia.
But he's not a nice guy. That's all I would say.
Fair enough.
Do you ever run into him throughout your training or anything like that?
Let's leave that topic. I don't
Sure.
want to talk about him.
Yeah, we can. Yeah.
Just to break my mood.
Yeah. No, he. Well, as you saw, Canada has jumped over to IFA, or has decided to join IFA. Doesn't mean we're necessarily out of WAF, but the majority of Canadians, if there is a world championship, will go to the IFA. And I think that's the right decision.
Maybe, I hope so.
And if it isn't, we'll have to go back.
I heard that Russia also will join IFA, I think.
The one thing I have not heard anything about is Russia. So you probably would have heard it long before I did, but I have not heard anything out of Russia. And maybe it's just because I haven't seen it. But that would be a pretty big thing, I think, if Russia jumped over to IFA.
I think that Russia will go with Tifa this year also.
Wow.
Well, that's a big arm wrestling powerhouse moving over.
Well, didn't Georgia go with IFA, or did I misread that?
Not yet, I think.
A splinter group.
Okay.
So not the whole thing, but a small group of them
Okay.
joined. So there's a question in the comments section here, and I'm going to ask it. What is your opinion on the King's move?
I think that they should forbid this immediately.
And how do you fix it? How do you get rid of it? That's the question I guess we should ask for you.
So, if you're experienced referee and if you're familiar with arm wrestling, you see when somebody straight his arm on purpose. And I think that every time when the referees see that somebody is straightening his own arm on purpose, that should be a foul.
So it's a matter of the arm being straight.
Yes, this is what I see.
So in the case of, let's take Michael Todd, for example. His King's move is generally just a little tiny bit bent.
Makes no difference to me, actually.
Yeah.
This is what I see. In arm wrestling, if you try to go with the shoulder down, this is not arm wrestling. If you want to win the arm wrestling match, you should go with the shoulder into the table, not down. Every time when somebody is going under the table or with the shoulder back,
they're running. Yeah.
They're running. Yeah. This is not arm wrestling for me.
Good man.
You know what? I can't disagree with that very much. I mean, I definitely prefer Michael Todd's King's move over Devin's King's move. But
it's still not fair. It's still not fair. I just want to say something about this.
Sure.
When Michael Todd pulled Pushka, rest in peace, Pushka was pushing him with all his body, and Michael was staying under the table or the same level as the table and was talking to the referee. Do you think that if you're giving everything you've got on the table, you'll be able to talk to the referee?
No.
He was resting while the other man was giving everything that he has.
Yeah. And that's also another issue I have with it. If you and I are, well, of course I couldn't compete with you, but hypothetically speaking, if you and I were in a hook match and you're giving me everything I have, out of respect and honor, I would want to try to match that effort regardless if I win or lose. But as soon as someone goes into a King's move, and like you said, the other person's giving 100% effort, blowing up their bicep and chest and not giving up, red in the face, and the other guy is sitting down on an invisible chair talking to the ref without a bit of sweat, it's not only wrong, fundamentally speaking, from a tactical standpoint, but from an honor and respect standpoint, it's disgraceful. And that's my bigger issue with it. It's a lack of honor and respect to your opponent, not just the sport.
Yeah, it's just not fair.
No, not at all.
It'd be interesting to see how you would fix, there's too much gray area there for it to be fixed without some definite serious rule changes.
Yeah. It would be hard to put it in writing, but I've reffed tournaments, and as soon as I know when someone's drawing back to top roll and when someone's drawing back to top King's move and lower himself to use his arm as a fulcrum, as a lever, and once that lever is established, he drops his body 6 inches. That's a King's move. I mean, like you said, any experienced ref can see what the intention is of the puller.
Yes,
the intention is to run so far away that he stalls the match enough that the opponent just bleeds out over time.
Yeah,
it's hard to put that in writing. And when do you stop it? When do you allow it? But fuck it, a King's move is a King's move. I think it's definite. The problem would be putting into writing legally, binding, so that a ref can follow it to the T or to the letter of the law.
If you know arm wrestling, it's very easy to see when somebody is doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna see 1 or 2 King's moves coming up on the card. So who would you pick in that match, Devin or Michael?
I would pick Devon actually.
Really?
I think that even last year he could win that match. Just he felt too confident the second or third round, I think, and he tried to win too fast, and that's why he lost. This is what I saw.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Well, Devin claims that he has learned a lot since then, so I guess we'll see.
I always thought that Dmitry Trubin's tactical approach versus Michael Todd, 3-4 years ago, to beat him was beautiful. I mean, that's textbook how
Yeah,
you beat a king's move.
yes,
Very like Krause, you got to be very patient. You can't rush the pin because you'll lose hand positioning. Very
yeah.
patient. Do it in
Exactly.
adjustments. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, let's go down that path then, Gavi. What do you think? The rest of the WAL card. You got any good predictions you want to throw out there? Do you think
Well,
that? Do you think that RVJ and Eddie Hall is going to be a good match?
potentially it could have if Eddie Hall had more. I wouldn't say better coaching, but more time to get his shit connected, because you see him pulling much like big, huge, strong men coming into the sport. He doesn't connect. Like, he's obviously not weak, but his hand doesn't connect to his bicep. His bicep doesn't connect to his shoulder. He leans back and he tries to bicep curl, which of course, and he uses no elbow strength, which of course will get him nowhere against a good hook puller. And RVJ is a great hook puller, albeit lighter. So at first I thought he had a chance until I saw video footage of him pulling, talking about the Brit, of course, and I saw how he couldn't even budge Neil Pickup when Neil just pronated a bit, and then I realized that guy has no chance at all. But it will bring in a new audience. It will bring in a new demographic. So ultimately, it's a good thing, just not for arm wrestling enthusiasts. It won't.
Absolutely agree with you.
Devin and Mike, I think is potentially will be a long, ugly, sickening match. And I think Michael Todd, I favor him only because I don't think there's anyone on earth in the history of arm wrestling that is a better shittier junk arm wrestler than him. And I don't think he can lose with wall rules. I really like the Wilmot Sheldon matchup, only because Adam's a big wild card, and even if he loses, it should be a spiritual matchup anyway. It could get heated, but Sheldon's the more all-round, stronger, better, fundamentally sound puller with a better track record. The most interesting matchup from a tactical standpoint would be Ryan Bowen versus Brendan, only because they're both highly intelligent on the table. They have no huge exploitable weaknesses, so that potentially could be a long match, but a long match with standard stand-up arm wrestling, which is fun to watch.
Yeah. Krasi, I have a question for you. Like, I know that sometimes a lot of the North Americans are guilty of not paying attention to what happens overseas, in Europe and in Asia and Russia, wherever.
But it's the same here, the opposite. So it's normal.
Right. That's my question. Is it going to be, do the Europeans pay attention to what's happening in North America?
Mostly WoW.
Okay.
The other tournaments we don't know.
Because I had, not that I consider myself a name or anything, but I have won a couple of WAF titles, and I pulled Levon, and when I opened up his hand a little bit at WAF, he had no idea who I was, and he came up after and asked me if I was a world champion. So, he just thought it was some big Canadian, but it's yeah. So as far as wall predictions, like, do you pay attention to the matches that are getting made that are outside of your own weight class?
I watch almost all and like most of WoW matches. So I watch WoW.
How about the women's matches?
The upcoming match will be very interesting according to me. I really don't know what will happen in that match. I think it will be a good one.
Do you think any of the European girls can beat Gabriella?
Irina.
Yeah, but Irina is
retired
now. So I don't know. Maybe Egle Voikutia. I don't know for other girls. Gabi is the powerhouse.
Yeah, she is a problem because you can't find anyone to go against her. That's a tough spot to be in.
Yeah.
I guess if you're pretty satisfied with what's happening in PAL, but is there anyone outside of PAL that you really want to have a match with?
I want to pull Hutchins, of course. He beat me several times already, and I want to pull him in a super match.
Okay. Is there anyone out there left-handed that interests you?
Left hand, I would like to pull Waletin and who else? Maybe left-handed. I would pull Uriah lefty also. Who else left? I would pull Travis lefty also. Devon lefty also.
Now, have you heard of this gigantic tournament that's happening on August in Canada?
Red Deer?
Yes, in Red Deer.
Yes.
Have you considered the possibility of coming over to that? Because it seems like everyone else is.
Actually, they invite me there, but I'm thankful for that. But I will not come because of the top 8 thing, and I will give all my attention to the top 8 this year.
When does it wrap up?
The first stage is in June. The second maybe in September, and the third in December.
Neil Pickup just said, I had you versus Ryan Lefty proposed and you moved on. We already talked about that, Neil. I kind of let the cat out of the bag. I did not know it was a left-handed match. That is pretty interesting, though. Yeah. I wish it would have happened, and maybe it still will at some point, but it'll be maybe next year. Maybe next year when you're all done, when you're wrapped up with PAL.
Actually, if it's left-handed, we can do it this year also, I think. We'll see.
So is there ever a possibility, and you're with PAL, so they said you could pull left-handed. Would they be okay with you pulling left-handed in WAL while you're still in the top 8?
I think that it's possible to do that.
Well, Neil, you're watching. What do you think?
Because Igor said to me, this year, right hand you should pull just with us. Left hand you can go and pull to other tournaments also.
Yeah. I actually offered myself up to, I guess I'm just going to whoever wants me at this point. But whoever calls me first gets it. So I've been saying yes to this is the year that I said yes to absolutely everything. And then all of a sudden we have coronavirus kind of throwing it all off track. Like I've got 6 events booked from between now and the end of the summer, and trying to keep myself open in case WAL gives me a call. But maybe all this doesn't even happen. It's hard to say.
I don't know what to say. We'll see.
So with Igor's events, like they're not all in one location. They're kind of all over the place, right? Does he have them all pre-booked in different locations?
So far, just the first one is booked. So
okay. All right. Well, hopefully that happens. Gabi, what else?
Yeah, so there are 3 guys on the planet that arm wrestle, and in my opinion, they arm wrestle the same fashion. There's yourself, there's Todd Hutchins, and there's Sasho Andreev. Being that Sasho is roughly your weight and lives in the same country, I was going to ask you, do you guys ever train together? And if so, does he must implement the same training tactics that you do as you both have the same strengths?
Sasho Andreev is my student. I started teaching him arm wrestling when he was 16 years old.
Wow, you must be proud because that fucking kid can pull.
Yes, but a year and a half after we started training together. He decided that he doesn't want to train with me anymore,
Okay.
and we split. So far, we train together, let's say 3-4 times a year. We live in the same town, a very small town, but we just pull 5 times a year, let's say 5 times a year, just
Okay.
to see what our shape is for the moment.
Okay. And when you pull him slowly at training, I'm sure it's you struggle. Like it must be long, hard matches between the
Yes,
two.
most of the trainings we kill each other.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Yeah. I think I was watching a match between you and him left-handed. Well, you two have pulled in competition many times, but it's always fucking good matches.
Yes, it's true.
Yeah.
So I'm posting some comments here from Neil. Gabi, care to respond?
What's he saying? Sasho actually pulls stylistically very different to Krasi.
Yeah.
Well, they both have tremendous side pressure with their wrists straight. In other words, they don't need full supination or a full committed hook to drive sideways on somebody. And I only see 3 pullers that do that with high success rate, and that's Krasimir, Sasho, and Todd Hutchins. So from what I see optically, they're very similar. Similar in stature, similar stylistically. Both great in the straps, both arm heavy, both top 3 top side pressure in the sport. Defensive pullers with tremendous stamina. I mean, I don't know what I'm not getting here. But for me, they're very similar.
Actually,
Gotcha.
what Neil just wrote is very true.
Okay.
Krasi is far more engaged with the triceps, while Sasho is far more drag based. This is true, actually.
That makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah. And I think both would just destroy RVJ, if anyone's wondering.
Actually, I don't know how strong RBJ is, but from what I saw, he has wins over Brzenko, over Barbosa, so I think he's very good also.
Yeah, he is. He's elite. Yeah. I'm sure the world would love to see that match, much like they did see him pull Todd or you and Sasha pull Todd. All tremendously strong 210, 220 pound guys. What is your current weight? It must be around 220?
Right now,
100
I'm
kilos? 100 kilos?
105 kilos right now, so that's 230, I think.
Yeah, nice.
All right. What else we got, guys? You're reading the comments section as I am as well. Well, Krasi, I'm working on a little surprise here. We'll see if what happens, but
Yeah.
so I guess go ahead.
If I'm Vitaly, I don't love that matchup because anyone that can pull without their hand and not give up without their hand presents one hell of a problem with a one-dimensional top roller, especially when it comes to finishing that puller. I'm not saying he's not favored. He is favored. He is slightly favored only because of the gigantic frame advantage and weight advantage. But stylistically, I don't think he loves this. If he's an intelligent guy, I don't think he loves this. He might be confident, but I don't think this is the best matchup for him in his mind and his camp.
We'll see. We'll see.
Yeah.
Just the thing is that he's very good. He had several matches when he takes the hand and he's not able to finish quickly, but he's still engage his shoulder and stay very close and tires the opponent.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, he definitely won't open up like Kurdecha opened up. That's
yes,
for sure.
yes.
Too much experience. That's certain.
His experience is a lot more, and he knows what to do. So we'll see.
So let's talk a little bit. I mean, we talked about Wall. We talked about top 8. Maybe take us through a little bit of what you went through with the Zloty. Like
Actually,
you won the overall, and correct me if I'm wrong, the overall left-handed,
yes,
and you pulled Dmitry Stilayev in the finals. Is that correct?
yes.
I did not get a chance to watch that match, but how did it end up going?
With left,
Yes.
uh, in the qualifications, he lost to Oleg Petrenko, so I came to the final undefeated. The first match, we hooked each other, and the match stopped, and he fouled out. And after the foul, he top rolled me without the strap. So it was 1-1. And the super final, I went for top roll to get the straps. And after we reached the straps, I hooked him and beat him fast with hook. With right arm, we slipped in the qualifications. With the strap, I stopped him, and he made a foul, but the referee didn't see it, and he beat me. Even I said to the referee, "There's a foul." They said, "No, there's no." And when you see the video, you can see it very easy to see. Anyway, and the final match, the same way actually. He did a little bit fall and he pinned me. I was not able to stop the match in good position.
So how do you feel about the prospect of running into him in the top 8 at some point?
I would pull him, and I just hope this time the referee watch both of our elbows, and I just want to get a fair referee. That's it.
Okay. Well, we wish you the best, and we have Lalatin coming on. Lalatin is your opponent, and that's going to be one heck of a match, I think.
We'll see.
We'll see. Well, Gabi, we got anything else we want to cover before we wrap?
I got one question for him. Although he's relatively young, he has a rich history in the sport, and I was wondering, coming up to the watching the match with him and Alex, what is his biggest or proudest victory in his career?
So far, my sweetest victory is over Arsen Liliev 2012.
Wow, nice.
But this victory over Alex, I'm very proud of it also, because I really had to give all I had.
I guess so. Yes, you did.
Yeah.
The whole world saw that. Yeah.
Whatever. Yeah, Arsen Liliev. That was fantastic. I remember that match. And whatever happened to him?
After I beat him at the Worlds, after that I beat him at the European Championship, and he tested positive for doping. He was banned for 2 years, and just he retired after that.
Was it his second time being caught then, if it was a 2-year ban?
No, it was the first time, but he just retired after that.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Okay. Well, that's he got beat, tested positive, and yeah,
Yes.
that's got to sting a little bit when you go out with a silver and then you end up retiring. So good on you. How many WAF titles have you amassed throughout the years?
I count the years that I was world champion. So
Okay.
I have 7 years being world champion and 8 years being European champion.
So 7 years. Now does that mean you won both arms on those years?
2 years
Or
I have
years.
done both, I think.
Okay. And 8 years being European.
Yes.
And which is almost as tough of a tournament as the WAF.
Actually, sometimes even it's tougher.
Yeah.
The same level.
Yeah. Hey, you guys in the comments section, some of the questions you're asking we've covered already, so you're going to have to go back and watch it from the start, particularly the Dave versus Levon question.
Yeah. I got one for him. Who is the greatest pound for pound European arm wrestler of all time?
Maybe Hajimurat Zoloev.
Who's that? Sorry, repeat that.
Hajimurat Zoloev.
Oh, of
Oh,
course.
Zoloev,
Yeah.
Okay. Now, who is the best arm wrestler to ever walk the planet?
So far, it's John Brzenk.
Has anyone come close?
Not yet.
But wouldn't, if you're going by weight class, and of course I agree, I believe John had the best career. Couldn't you argue that Engin Terzi was as good, if not better, than John per his weight over a full career?
For his weight, maybe. But the thing is that John was chasing the heavyweights for so many years, so
True, of
I
course.
cannot compare that.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Engin was just staying at his weight class, while John Brzenk was chasing all the heavyweights, so it's not comparable.
That's good point. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right.
And speaking of Svetan, the first Worlds I went to were 2005. Then I went to 2006 in Manchester, and I remember meeting. I had Gashevsky in my class in 2006 in the 75 kilo. He was an impressive arm wrestler to watch from a tactical standpoint.
Of course.
Your countrymate. I mean, arguably one of the smartest arm wrestlers to ever live. He was impressive.
The most technical guys that I know are Brzenk, Larat, and Gashevsky.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, solid choices for sure. All right. Anything else, Gabi, to wrap the show?
Man, that's it. I had about 6-7 questions. I got them all out.
Yeah. So, Krasi, I'm just going to ask you one more question. Can I count on my Krasi pulley being here within the next 3 weeks?
Actually, from Bulgaria to Canada, it's about a month. So.
Oh, my God. I need it here before I retire.
So,
all right, man. Anything you want to say before we wrap it up?
Well, what should I say? I want to wish health to all the competitors, and I just hope that the people who love more arm wrestling to get more wins at the end.
Yeah. And from all of us at Arm Crossfire, and usually that's just me and Gabi and whoever our guest is, we wish you, the world, a speedy recovery on getting rid of all of this COVID-19 stuff so that we can get on with arm wrestling.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. And Krasi, thank you for coming on the show. We appreciate you, and we wish you the best in your upcoming match. I hope everything goes off without having to be delayed or any of that stuff. And, man, I hope you win. And best of luck.
Yeah, it's an honor.
All the best.
Thanks
Thank you, guys.
Yeah.